you're making those phone calls, when you're knocking on the door, if you already understand the questions that the prospect has in their mind, and you're answering those questions before they ask, it's a level of control and understanding, and it allows you to move forward and lowers their barriers at the same exact time. That's the golden part of that. You don't want to lose control or just throw it in the air and say, how are you? Right? You might as well say, hey, Miss Jones, do you want to buy insurance today or not? In the first 10 seconds.
Welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. I'm here with Zach, my buddy, Roger, my buddy, and we are crushing it today. We got some good stuff for you guys.
You must got ejected throwing elbows.
I look like Draymond Green there, didn't I?
You do look like it.
So I love how when you open, they never throw to me, and I always have to like talk. Like if I laugh or giggle, they just hear a voice from the other side of the table, and not until I do this do I actually get brought in. Thank you, Adam, for bringing me in. All right, Chris, back to you.
Man, he's skilled. He's skilled.
Draymond Green.
Roger actually has a buzzer under the table that he hits it, and it vibrates Adam, and Adam goes ahead and put the cameras on him. Yeah,
it went from Draymond Green to buzzer. Go.
I like it. Today's topic. We are turning maybes. I want to make this rhyme, so I don't. No, maybes into babies. No, that doesn't work. Turning
That's
maybes.
Terrible.
Turning maybes into yeses, Chris. By making this one simple adjustment. Maybes into yeses.
Maybes into Yeezys? Maybe?
Yes.
What do you got on your feet?
Listen to you.
What? You got to show the Yeezys. We can't start off this podcast. This went from maybes to Yeezys.
Put a leg on the
Let's
table.
See it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
If you guys are in the car, pull over, go to YouTube.
Oh,
Look at this. Behold.
And we are not sponsored by Yeezys. You got to hold it still so they can see it. There it is.
I'll this one will stay on the table. Boom. Sponsored by
No,
Yeezy.
please take
In
that.
case you guys are wondering, he's going to get the Kanye West snow boots and wear them around everywhere he
The
goes.
snow boots. The big black ones. They look like moon boots. Kanye, we're not sponsored by Kanye West
today.
either. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay.
Bring it in.
Turning maybes into yeses by making this one simple adjustment.
That's it.
That's it.
The
See you guys
listeners are
later.
going to be
Have a
wondering
great-
what the heck just happened.
That's right. So you may be wondering why you're not selling as much as you like. Maybe you're getting the laydowns. Just getting the laydowns, but all the other ones are no's or I need to think about it and things like that. So today we're going to be talking about expectations. I think that's an important word, an important topic for us.
Okay.
And every time there's a door knock to somebody's house, there's an expectation. Every time the phone rings, there's an expectation. Every time you pick up the phone, you have an expectation when somebody's calling you. So we're going to be talking about what that looks like from the client side and how we can help you set and satisfy those expectations. Before we dive into this,
Is it just the client side, or is it?
that's a good question. That's a good question. But let me give you an example of this and why it matters, okay? Let's say, Roger, you and Rose, you're going to go out.
Easy.
I know. This is the
Easy.
You're gonna go out and you call her and you say, "Hey babes," because you call her babes. Hey babes, we're gonna hit the town. We're gonna hit the
babe.
Okay, hey babe, we're gonna hit the town. I want you to dress up, put on your best dress, go get your nails done, go get those hair things done. Whatever girls do, you do.
First of all, I don't talk to my wife like that. So if you think so, then like,
well, let me finish the story.
That's a major fail right there.
So she's all dazzled up, ready to go. You get done here, whatever. You go up, pick her up, and you're driving to the destination, and you pull up to Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's you and not me.
Okay, I did that once. No, my point is, like, the expectation. You set the expectation for something, and her expectations weren't met, right? I know you would never do that.
I hate that.
Yeah,
Listeners are expecting some value right now, and they're wondering if they're going to be frustrated by watching this.
Right.
But yeah, whenever you don't get an expectation met, you're frustrated. It's
Right.
frustrating.
Absolutely.
It's like not good. If you think you're going to, make sales today, you don't. It's not good.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the question is, whose fault is that? Is it the fault of the client not voicing what they expect? Or is it the fault of the agent not projecting what's going to happen, or the assumptions or the expectations of what's going to happen?
Well, I think obviously it's going to be the agent's fault. I mean, a client isn't going to say, hey, I expect you to tell me how to buy life insurance.
Some clients would.
I can't think of a situation where that happened. Have you? Can you think of that?
I've been in a home before, and the guy was like, listen, we got 15 minutes. If we can get this done in 15 minutes, I'm good to go. Otherwise, you got to leave because I got to go.
So he gave you the expectation. Bam,
He set the expectation. I'm like,
yeah,
we can get this done.
Yeah.
12 minutes, I was in and out. Done.
Wow,
App
dude.
taken.
That's
rolling. Oh, yeah. He set the expectation, and it was over here in Hikes Point area in Louisville.
Check
I
that
remember
out,
exactly. Like, I mean, I could probably get to the apartment.
I've had a couple like that were, I don't know, 15 minutes is pretty quick, man. That's smoke coming from the paper. But I know, Zach, you do a lot of training in understanding the mindset of prospects. Do you feel like that helps understand that a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I don't know. I'm doing the mental approach. I mean,
He's a mentalist.
I am, man.
He's just mentally setting expectations.
I'm
You
a
are
thinker.
filling
I'm
out
a
an
problem
application.
solver. So it's almost like I run through what's going to happen before it happens. And
But do you let them know that?
No, but it lets me. I guess it keeps me at ease. It keeps me calm because I know exactly what I need to say, when I need to say it, how it needs to be said, and it smoothly just flows and just happens. It's like I foreshadowed it in my brain.
Well, let's do this. What are some expectations from a prospect side? Let's just talk through some of these. I know you have
All
some,
right.
Roger. Zach, you have some of like what they're expecting when a phone rings, when they hear life insurance, when pop, pop, pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the roadblock expectations that need to be adjusted? Maybe that's the way to approach it.
I think it's a great question because really, in order for you to hit the next level as an agent and really go from what you said, just only getting laydowns, into really having the opportunity to sell about everybody you sit with, the difference is understanding your clients, understanding how they react to things. Like you said, a phone call, like you said, somebody showing up at the door, how long it should take. Like for me, I always want to think through the process of, if I was that client, how would I react? If somebody just pulled into my driveway that I don't recognize their car, their vehicle, and they got out and started approaching my home, what are the thoughts going through my head? When they knock on the door and the way they smile, the way they present themselves, how fast they talk, how slow they talk, what does that communicate to me? And it helps me understand how our clients would react in that situation.
So there's for you to set the tone, there's this level of empathy on what would you feel if you were dealing with that.
Well, it's like human psychology 101. It's like what's going through that person's mind. I mean, Zach goes through it when he does final expense training. It's the same thing when we're doing telesales, mortgage protection, final expense, regardless of which one it is. If you're encountering someone for the first time, you don't know them, and they're coming at you with a call to set an appointment, or they're coming for the presentation, or they're calling to talk about something that you requested. You don't know who they are. And the questions that are raised through your brain is, who are they? Who are they with? And what do they want?
Yes.
That's it. So, I recently had the opportunity to be invited on the Ultimate Agent Challenge, the Ultimate Agent Contest, the first ever.
Dang, dude.
And got flown to an undisclosed location, this massive house. 5 agents brought in from different places around the country, and they didn't know each other. And they were brought in, and they were given a diverse mixture of leads, for instance. And they didn't know what type of leads they were going to get. Some of them were telesales only. Some of them were Zoom virtual only. Some were only face-to-face. Some were final expense over the phone only. Like there was a variety of backgrounds. Some of them were brand new agents. And they were just thrown into the mix. But it was amazing to watch the process develop even over a very short period of time. Because an agent who, in my opinion, is a super strong producer, very engaging individual, very successful with a long career ahead of them, used to get lost in the open. because they wouldn't put themselves in the mindset of the client, and they weren't setting proper expectations and guiding the client to the place where they wanted to be.
Right.
And I said to them, I use the word them, they're they and them for the purposes of this, because I can't reveal who. And
They identify as they and them. That's what you're saying.
He's getting close.
I'm not.
struggling
You're
over
not
here.
closing me on who that person was,
So you're going to tell us at the end
or
of
who
this
that
episode
gentleman or lady was. But we said, identify who you are. Tell them who you're with and why you're calling.
Yes.
That buys you some time, because now you've settled an expectation on the other side, because that prospect is like, I don't know who they are. What do they want? And so when you answer the thing that they're wanting to know,
Right.
you've met their expectation.
That's great.
And now you've bought some time. And boy, when they implemented that one little piece, and then they led with, I want to confirm the address you have here that you provided for our records to make sure we got everything correct. Is that okay? And then they start, okay? And then they start in, are you still at 123 Main Street? They were like, that is so much better than just saying, how are you?
Oh,
I was like, yeah, how are you? Hi, is this Miss Betty? Hi, Miss Betty. My name is Chris. How are you? Like, now that person's confused on the other side, right? But in the moment when you're under the pressure cooker, sometimes you don't realize the difference in the nuance between that open.
Yeah.
And the way you open the open A and open B, you're just trying to be friendly, and you don't realize where you're leading people. But your language matters.
Maybe this is a good way to approach this episode is, what is the order of operations? Like, the thing I think of is, if I'm knocking on the door, my goal is to
meet a person.
meet a person. That's perfect.
Yep.
It's to meet a person.
Yes.
But I do think
It's not to get in the house.
the people who are just selling
Yeah.
on the closes or on the laydowns, they're probably in this maybe 4 months, and they've had enough success to stay in it, right? They're thinking, I am knocking on a door to sell. Their expectation is projected. It's projecting
Correct.
on this whole process. So if they go, let's look at this, how this meets. They're going to the door saying, I'm going to meet a person. I'm not going to sell something. Is that better for them in the long run?
I think you said something that's very important there. And you said, what is the agent's goal? Like, so even that's forecasting. Like, do you know how many agents go into homes or go into sits or do presentations or call on the phone, and they don't even know what they're truly wanting to accomplish at this phone call?
They just want to make a sale. In the
That's
back of
what
their mind, they're
that's
going all
it.
the way to the end.
Right.
Yes.
And they're
that's-
projecting that with their language.
And
Yes.
and that's not necessarily a bad thing to know that you're wanting a seller, you're wanting to
Or
serve
having
a
the
family.
confidence that you're going to do that.
That there's a difference in that's what you're wanting to accomplish, and that's what you have to do, because you have to follow a step-by-step process. You have to segment that into many goals in order to ultimately get the sale or to serve the family. Like you said there, Chris, like that's so important. And back to Roger's point, because I don't want to lose it, but what Roger said there was so important, because you have to, when you're making those phone calls, when you're knocking on the door, if you already understand the questions that the prospect has in their mind, and you're answering those questions before they ask, it's a level of control and understanding, and it allows you to move forward and lowers their barriers at the same exact time. That's the golden part of that. You don't want to lose control or just throw it in the air and say, how are you? Right? You might as well say, hey, Miss Jones, do you want to buy insurance today or not? In the first 10 seconds.
How are you? Take control of this conversation and ask me some questions, please. I mean, that's really what you're saying.
It's a little awkward.
Yes. So these are these little tiny tricks that will go a long, 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 long way.
And they're not tricks. I mean, I know you say the word tricks, but when you say that, I know you're
Tips,
it's actually a communication strategy is really what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've actually got a strategy based on setting a proper expectation. When you know that this client is expecting something, and you address the thing that they expect, even though it never came out of their mouth, they never verbalized it. You now buy yourself, you've bought yourself some grace on time for them to hear you out, because you've identified the things that you know are already run. So that it starts right there. Like when people are dialing, for instance, we had this conversation as well. When people are dialing, calling through to set appointments, and they might be dialing through 100 leads or whatever, we did a little survey. What's your goal when you're dialing? My goal is to book appointments. That was the goal, right? That's what most of the people said. And they said, well, what's your goal? I said, my goal is to get someone to pick up the phone.
Yes.
My goal is to get someone to answer. So if my goal is to get someone to answer, I'm probably going to approach what I'm doing differently than someone who's just trying to book an appointment. Because if I'm going all the way to the appointment, now I'm setting an improper expectation on my part that if I don't book appointments, I'm not winning. Right? When my goal is to get people to pick up. So if I'm taking my 100 leads and dialing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then I go, then I come back and I take out the 10 or 12 people that said no, and then I start over 1, 2, 3, and go to 90, right? I'm going to wear myself out. I'm going to feel like I failed. However, if my goal is to get someone to pick up the phone, I'm taking 20 or 25. I'm triple dialing 1. I'm triple dialing 2. Why am I doing that? Because I know human psychology on the other end of the phone. They're going, who's that calling? I don't know who that person is. And then it rings again. Oh, man, same number twice.
And that mindset applies to face-to-face.
By the time it rings the third time, Zach, they're going, dang, who's this person? I'm either going to get mad at them or they really need something. Hello? Who are you? Why you keep calling me? Oh, now have you accomplished your purpose now? Now your goal was to get someone to answer the phone, different strategy, and you're setting yourself up for a different result. Now you have someone to talk to. Now goal number 2 moves into place.
Perfect.
Now, okay, now that I'm talking to them, now I'm trying to accomplish my next goal.
Right.
And so you've set proper expectations for yourself. You're setting proper expectations for the client when you first speak with them. So like some of these things are in pre-setup. You know, if you're going to be ready to roll out at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock on Monday morning, you better have your stuff ready Sunday night, right? It's again setting proper expectations for yourself or the client. It goes in every part of this.
Yeah, I would agree, and I like the in my mind when I'm going, especially on the phone, when I'm doing the phone thing, it's almost a game for me in a way. Like, can I get somebody to answer? Can I let them know who I am, who I'm with, what I'm calling for? My next one for me is, can I get them to grab a pen and paper?
Yeah.
Like I
love that take action step.
Yeah. If I can get them to get the pen and paper, then I can get to the conversation.
By the way, Chris, that script you have for MP telesales in a one-call close, that is gold, dude.
Oh, thank you.
That script is,
it's fun.
That script that he's got is gold.
$799.99.
It's gold.
I gotta see how much the next
It's gold.
are.
It is gold.
Yeah.
I've seen it in action. I've put it in action. I've watched other people do it.
Yeah.
I watched the Ultimate Agent contestants use it, and they were blowing it up.
Yeah,
it's a good script.
I like I like it especially for some of those digital leads, digital mortgage protection leads, or even aged leads.
Aged leads,
it's perfect for aged leads. Yeah, lots of fun.
It's gold.
But
it's money.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I think some of those conversations, like, there are other areas where I think expectations kind of get rattled a little bit. I think one would be filling out an application, or let's say this one, banking information. Would you say that that's an expectation piece?
Yeah, I could say you could back it up and look at the whole process.
Okay.
I mean, because even
I was trying to keep the podcast short.
Apparently, we're doing a 2-day boot camp here with Mr. McElwain.
Give the people what they want, man.
Yeah, we're doing a 2-day boot camp, and we're doing it right now, live with
Grab
you.
your crayons and pencils.
Yes.
Look, he tried to take action right there. That's perfect. Perfect.
All right.
But, you know, when even like if you're doing a door knock, well, this just takes a few minutes. I'm going to get my stuff and I'll be right back. You're telling them what you're going to do. Then you're sitting with them. You're going through the process there. You know, I'm going to show you a little bit of what we're going to, you know, how we can help or what we can do. And you're moving through that all the way through the bank. Everything you're doing, like what I've noticed when, like the agents and the process that we teach is you're always setting expectations, but you're also telling the client, like you're not just doing them to yourself
really,
personally.
really
you're verbally communicating the expectations throughout the process, so your client always knows what you're doing next. And with that, I never want to share too many expectations ahead, because then it feels like, oh, this is going to be so long. It's almost like, okay, now all we have to, we just have to do this. Now we just have to do that. Now we're going to take care of this, and then we're going to be done. Like boom, 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 boom.
One of the things I like about the visual on the FE presentation, right? On the digital FE presentation or the flip chart, on that last page, it says what's next, what's coming next. You know, we're going to review your underwriting. We're going to take a look at your prescription history, and then we're going to complete your qualification.
Yeah.
And when you say that to the client, they're going to go, "Oh, okay."
That's
so
it.
now we're going to talk about my health. Then we're going to look at my meds, and then we're going to fill out an app. That's what basically you're telling them is going to happen. And when you tell people what's going to happen, people usually want and get what they expect.
People don't like uncertainty.
No.
They don't know.
They want to know a path forward. They want to
Exactly.
know there's a direction. And when you lead them, they're confident.
Yeah.
If you go out with somebody and if you were going to go parachuting, Chris, for the first time in your life,
Yes.
I will pay
and
for
you're
it
going to
if
go
you go
parachuting,
I will
you
pay
can
for
do
it.
it one of two ways. And I always laugh at this.
And
'cause
I'll buy you a new pair of
I have
Yeezys.
maybe we can get a meme or some type of a GIF of Chris falling out of a plane. Anyways, that would be good right here. But if you were going to jump out of a plane, you have two options. Number one, you can pack. You can put your own pack on, and you can jump out yourself. And when you're ready, you can pull the ripcord.
Okay.
The other way,
Let's
which
hear
is
that
what
one.
most people do. See, you didn't like the first way. What most people do is they strap another person onto their back who is much more experienced.
Yes.
So now you've got generally some kind of man on your back, and they're going with you, and they tell you when to pull that cord, and you're with somebody else who's got confidence. Which one would give you more confidence to jump out of that
question.
plane?
I want the
Especially
I want the
you.
man on my back.
Right. You want the person strapped to your back who says, okay, we're going to pull the cord now. If you don't, I will.
That's
Right?
Yes.
Right. Why does that give you more confidence?
Well, because he's done it 1,000 times before. He knows what he's doing, and I'm screaming.
Even though it feels awkward as heck to have a person on your
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right. But that gives you more confidence because there's someone giving you directions, right?
Yes.
Someone giving you directions. Okay, this is going to happen. Right. Your mouth is doing this in the wind, flopping in the, it's all
it's
one of those,
crazy.
and they got the video
I think
forever.
I'd pass out.
You probably would. It'd be one of those.
Roger be flying out next to you, taking selfies of you and your face the whole
What
way
is that?
down.
What is that? What is that? Where they show those Facebook videos where they bring people down? Is it slingshot at the amusement parks?
Oh,
And they
yeah,
bring
they
them all the way
pass
down,
out.
and then when they're going up, they always pass out when they wake up. Ah!
still flying,
and then they
and-
pass out again. Ah! Right. What they had an expectation of something, and it wasn't what they got.
Correct.
And as a result, they lose their crap. Right, and they
Yes.
pass out. When you're with somebody who knows what they're doing, it's easier to follow them. If you're with somebody who's uncertain, you don't want to go.
Right.
You have to do that for yourself and for the client. So at the end of this podcast episode, we're going to sign us all up to go jump out of a plane
Oh, my
together. And
goodness.
Chris is going to go first. Should we do that?
Well,
Give us a thumbs up.
Adam will
Comment
have to
in
go
the notes
first.
I
below.
hate you people.
If you want to see Chris, Adam would go with the GoPro and
I
he
bet
will
he would.
film you passing out on the way down. I think they're
Nice.
probably doing it for the Kentucky Derby
Are they?
Festival. At some point, you can
Okay.
probably jump out of a.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
All right.
Leave some comments
I'll
below
probably be training
if,
that day.
if you want to see Chris jump out of a
Zach
plane
said he'd be training that day
by himself or with a man.
I'll be
on his
bringing
back.
on agents at that time.
I'd rather paraglide.
I don't even know what that is. Is that what the?
It's like a grown
squirrel
man
suit?
strapped to a kite.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you see the one in Switzerland where the
Oh, the guy fell out.
where
Yeah.
no the guide didn't actually have him strapped in, so he was just hanging on by his hands and he wasn't even strapped on, and he held on for the full time until the guy got him down to the ground.
Good for
It's-
him.
It's wow, look at that.
Ooh.
See, I didn't have an expectation of that either in the middle of our show, but it happens.
It happens.
But yeah, even in that, there's danger, but it seems safer.
I feel like you had a great illustration, Roger. As long as I've known you, you've trained at this idea of being a professional street crosser, which is a funny way of saying it.
Yeah.
But I think it's helpful for people to hear as a new agent or someone who's just getting the laydowns. And the reason I'm saying that was because I was that agent, and I was so focused on the sales process that's all I was focusing on, and it didn't make sense to me
Yeah.
until I heard it. That
Yeah.
there's this idea of moving people a certain direction with your hand on their back, but I'll let you tell it because you do it better.
I don't even know where I came up with that analogy, other than
really
the fact
good.
that so an older couple is obviously in their senior years. They have an important appointment through their estate planning. They live out in the countryside in New York State, and they have a meeting downtown New York in Manhattan, and they've got to cross 8 lanes of traffic, and they're parked on the wrong side. When they come up, they realize the building that they need that's 60 floors is across the street, and New York City is happening pre-COVID.
Yes.
Right. And there's taxis and bicycle messengers and people walking by with black and gray. Everybody's got black and gray on because it's in the fall, and everybody in New York wears black and gray. And it's just overwhelming. And this couple's trying to cross the street, and you see them there, and you know that they're, they have fear. They know they got to get across the street. They know it's a super important appointment. but they don't want to go now because they have fear about how this process is going to work. And you come alongside and say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, my name is Chris Ball. My name is Roger Short. And I know that you have an appointment over there today. And I know it's really important to you, but I know you also have a little bit of fear and uncertainty about how you're going to do that. No fear. I am a professional street crosser. And as a result, I am here today to help you get across this street successfully. And I'm going to explain to you how we're going to do that. And you're going to take my arm, and I walk them through the process. And I even tell them little details, like when you step off the side of the curb, make sure you don't step there because there's a grate. So you're going to need to step just to the side, but you keep my arm. We're going to go to the median. Once we get to the median, because we're not moving as quickly as most people in New York, we're actually going to stop in that big median, and we're going to let the light change so that we don't have to rush or trip going the rest of the way. When that little hand comes up again, or the little walk sign, when that walk sign comes up, we're going to make the rest of the way over, and you're going to keep my hand, you're going to my arm, you're going to hold his hand, and we're going to go across there together, and we're going to navigate this successfully to the other side. And sure enough, when the light turns green, here we go. They follow your lead. They feel comfortable now that someone is actually leading them. You get to the other side. So this is an analogy of who we are. It's like a professional nurse who's really good at their job, who comes into the room, someone's in the bed, family's visiting, and that nurse just takes control. Okay, I need you to step out for a few minutes. I need to walk in here, and I need to go ahead and get your dad straightened away here. The doctor will be in for a few minutes, and I just need him to get everything ready so I can write the report for the doctor, and I'll have you back to him in just a few minutes. So, hey, Mr. Ball, how you doing? All right, we need to go ahead and get this done and get that done. You're giving direction. You're setting expectations.
Yeah.
They may not always like it, but when they hear where you're going from someone who's confident, they go with you.
Yes.
They go with you.
Yeah.
My wife and I, when we were in Italy, I just remember this, for our 25th anniversary, 5 years ago, we were in Italy, and we were traveling all the way from the Italian coast, Italian Riviera, Cinque Terre, all the way down to Naples. And then we had to get a driver to take us from Naples down to Sorrento. There was no real good way to go from Naples to Sorrento.
Everybody knows that.
Anyway, we booked a driver. Problem was, we had very little or intermittent cell service, and I was hoping everyone was going to show up where they were supposed to be. We didn't have a car. We were taking the train all the way down. We get off the train, and my wife is a little anxious. Now we're in a big city. We heard some things about Naples. Of all the cities over there, Naples is like kind of one of the busiest, and kind of not a place where a lot of tourists go to necessarily. They go to the the more beautiful places. And we get off in this super busy train station, and she's anxious. And we're walking. She's anxious. Is he going to be here? Oh my gosh, it's later in the day. Are we going to be able to check in? What's going to happen? Who are we meeting? And I could see the questions, and I could hear the questions, and I could see the anxiety. And as we were walking down past the train step into the main area of the train station, we see a man there, nicely dressed, nice collared shirt on, nice dress pants, nice shoes, sunglasses, with a sign that said "short" on it. And she saw it. She goes, "There he is." And when she saw him, she lit up straight to him. And he was like, "Oh, I got you. It's so good to meet you." And blah, 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 blah. And he was saying, "It's going to be beautiful. I hope you had a great day." Her countenance changed just like that. Literally, I had to run to keep up with the two of them, and I had all the luggage, and I was coming behind, and he was guiding my wife off to where his car was parked. She felt so much better that she had a guide who knew where they were going.
Yeah.
Even though her husband, 25 years, was right here, she had confidence in that dude, not in this dude at that moment, because that dude knew the environment. He knew how to get us where we needed to go. Her countenance changed. If we told that story and she was here, it would be a funny moment. There's actually pictures and video of her just like leaving me and going with it as we were heading to his car. So, but those moments of leading people with confidence sets expectations properly, and people want to go where they're being led. And when you set the proper expectation, it works.
That's great. So our goal in this podcast was to help you turn maybes into yeses by doing one simple adjustment, and that simple adjustment is setting clear expectations throughout your process, even from the very beginning, picking up the phone or door knocking. Hopefully you can do that, and I promise you will sell more. Thank you guys for being a part of this podcast. I hope you were really entertained. Because we were
turning maybes into Yeezys.
Yep, turning maybes into Yeezys. And we'll catch you on the next podcast.